Good morning. We're coming to you live on this 8th day of December. It is a Monday. My name is Gretchen Ho, bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. Get to the stories that matter today. A U.S. lawmaker filed a bill seeking to abolish dual citizenship in the United States. However, the Philippine Embassy in Washington cautioned that the proposal is not yet law and is not specifically targeting Filipinos who are known for their compliance with American laws. Following President Bongbong Marcos's directive, the Philippine National Police deployed intelligence and tracker teams to locate Sara Diskaya and others involved in an alleged 96.5 million ghost flood control project in Davao Occidental. And Lauren Capobres, a Filipino migrant worker who had been denied a visa to Rome, shared her powerful testimony of war and hardship with Pope Leo the 13th or 14th at the Marian Shrine of Harissa. The account, which detailed the quiet suffering of migrants, moved the Pope to tears. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first in the agenda. An independent panel of medical experts has completed its evaluation of detained former President Rodrigo Duterte and submitted its report to the International Criminal Court, or the ICC. Duterte's lawyer Nicholas Kaufman confirmed that both the defense and prosecution have received the confidential findings, with all parties invited to submit their observations by December 12. The ICC pre-trial chamber earlier created the three-member panel to assess Duterte's fitness to stand trial amid claims from the defense that the former president is experiencing cognitive decline. Composed of specialists in forensic psychiatry, neuropsychology, and geriatric and behavioral neurology, the panel was instructed to determine whether the former president has any medical issues that could affect his ability to understand the charges, evidence, and overall conduct of the pre-trial process. President Bongbong Marcos says he is open to unity talks even with Vice President Sara Duterte, but the Vice President simply laughed off the idea. More in this report.
For the sake of unity, President Bongbong Marcos says he is open to holding talks with anyone, including Vice President Sara Duterte. When the Vice President was asked about the President's offer of dialogue, her reply was brief. VP Sara is currently in The Hague, Netherlands, to visit her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, at the ICC detention facility. While there, she took a swipe at the corruption controversies hounding the government.
Malungkot ang Pasko natin dahil hindi natin gusto ang mga nangyayari sa ating bansa, lalong-lalo na yung mga iskandalo sa korupsyon at yung pag-aabuso sa posisyon at mga opisina ng gobyerno.
The Vice President also confirmed she is preparing for another impeachment complaint expected to be filed against her.
We're about to release a statement about the impeachment, no? So lalabas namin yan. Meron lang ako mga edits and amendments doon.
VP Sara also answered critics questioning her office over the supposed purchase of overpriced laptops.
Wala pong findings na ganun ang Commission on Audit. No? Kung nakita ninyo sa statement ng Office of the Vice President, pinublish na yung report ng Commission on Audit at wala silang findings of any wrongdoing sa Office of the Vice President.
According to the COA audit report, the OVP had listed 3 million pesos worth of laptops, but the OVP clarified to COA that the item was erroneously recorded by a staff member. They said these were not laptops but photocopying machine that were donated along with a desktop computer. For News 5, I'm Bril Montalvo. We are One News.
The Supreme Court has unanimously ordered the return of 60 billion pesos in PhilHealth funds previously transferred to the National Treasury. Executive Secretary Ralph Recto, who was Finance Secretary at the time and directed PhilHealth to remit the funds, said he respects the ruling. PhilHealth also welcomed the decision. House Committee on Appropriations Vice Chairperson Zia Alonto Adyong said that regardless of the ruling, the lower chamber has already restored the amount through the 2026 national budget during the passage of the General Appropriations Bill. Meanwhile, Vice President Sara Duterte said the decision of the country's highest court must be followed as it is the final arbiter of the law. The Philippine National Police has deployed intelligence units and tracker teams to locate Sara Diskaya and other individuals linked to the alleged 96.5 million peso ghost flood control project in Davao Occidental. The move follows President Bongbong Marcos's directive to prepare for the possible issuance of arrest warrants. PNP officer in charge Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. said the teams are working to identify the whereabouts of all individuals named in the charge sheet. Authorities have been coordinating with other agencies and gathering information on the suspects' possible locations. Republican Senator Bernie Moreno has filed the Exclusive Citizenship Act of 2025, a bill that could abolish dual citizenship in the United States. Now, it would force dual nationals to choose one citizenship within a year, and anyone who fails to act or later acquires a foreign nationality would automatically lose his U.S. citizenship. But legal experts say the proposal is unconstitutional, as the bill's automatic loss provisions directly violate the 14th Amendment, which protects citizenship as a constitutional right. The Philippine Embassy in Washington stressed the bill is not yet law and remains only a proposal that must undergo lengthy deliberation. Ambassador Jose Manuel Romualdez added that the measure is not aimed at Filipinos, describing Filipino Americans as one of the most respected groups widely known for complying with U.S. laws. Now, the remains of a Filipino crew member who drowned after MV Eternity Sea was attacked by Houthi rebels in the Red Sea has been repatriated to Manila. Here is a report.
The remains of one of the 3 Filipino crew members who died aboard MV Eternity Sea arrived in Manila on Saturday. The ship was attacked by Houthi rebels in the Red Sea in July while en route to Somalia.
May proseso ho kasi yan na clearance from the host country. Of course, one would be yun pong sa report of death. So, inaasikaso pa ho yan. Migrant Workers Office would have to coordinate with the mortuary.
The family of the deceased will receive financial assistance. Last Thursday, 9 crew members arrived in the Philippines after being held captive by the rebel group for 5 months.
Yun pong 9 ay sila po ay sabihin po natin, they were held captive, and so it took some time. They were assisted, they were saved, they were rescued by the foreign authorities.
They are now undergoing documentation and medical checkups.
Dahil after going through 5 months na sila po ay hindi natin alam kung anong na mga pangyayari sa kanila. So may mga stress debriefing at medical check-up po.
The DMW will also verify the crew members' right to refuse to sail was respected. The agency has previously advised against sailing in the Red Sea due to the attack and continues to remind licensed manning agencies and seafarers of this right.
Kailangan po ay hindi yan mapaparusahan yung officer or yung seafarer kung siya ay ayaw tumuloy sa kanyang paglalayag. Hindi ito dapat taken against you or to prevent you from boarding another vessel kasi baka maapektuhan ang kanyang opportunity to be on board again. So it should not be taken against the seafarer.
1 seafarer remains missing.
Sana ito na yung huling pangyayari na merong ma-held hostage or captive by the rebels.
Don't go away. We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here. Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho, here on Morning Matters. We talk about the most pressing issues and give you the context behind the headlines. President Bongbong Marcos likened the crackdown on corruption to a major cancer surgery that brings pain before healing. He acknowledged the difficulties caused by the scandal, which led to resignations, leadership changes, and mass protests, but expressed confidence that the country would recover quickly. Now, as part of ongoing efforts to hold those allegedly responsible for the controversial flood control project accountable, the Philippine National Police has deployed intelligence units and tracker teams to locate Sara Diskaya and other individuals linked to the 96.5 million peso project in Davao Occidental. And joining us today, we have political pundit Ronald Llamas to help us unpack President Marcos's latest statements about the government's anti-corruption drive. It is the Feast of the Immaculate Conception today, December 8th. And we, on holy days like this, we like to have holy men.
That was almost a compliment. No? Good morning.
Almost.
My favorite Atenean.
Hindi, alam ko naman kasi pagka ganito ay talagang madasaling ka. Kaya available ka kasi mabait ka rin at you came over despite the holiday. Pero first of all, I want to get your reaction to that statement. The President calling this as cancer that you need to excise out of such a complicated system na kailangan ng major surgery, na kailangan natin ng pain. Pero he expressed optimism that we will quickly recover.
Yeah.
Do you share the sentiment?
Well, tama naman yung sabi niya. This is a cancer, which means this is systemic and historical. Kaya nasa isang critical moment tayo kung tutumbukin ba natin yung root causes, halimbawa ng corruption. Kaya nandyan ngayon yung anti-dynasty bill. Nandyan ngayon itong Truth Commission, etc. Lahat ng habol nila ay tumbukin yung root cause ng corruption.
Teka, Truth Commission?
Truth Commission ay tinulak yan ni Cardinal David a month ago, tsaka ng mga civil society, para labanan itong mga nangyaring extrajudicial killings, hindi lamang sa present government, kundi sa Duterte government and even earlier.
And who makes up that Truth Commission?
Well, for now, it's a movement, no, para i-push yan. Pero nagsalita ang gobyerno na willing silang gawin niyang batas. Paano kung babalikan mo, unang sinuggest yan noong panahon ni President Aquino. Si Justice Davide yung gumawa, nag-consolidate ng Truth Commission para tignan yung mga corruption issues ng previous government ni Arroyo. In-strike down niya ng Supreme Court dahil wala daw equal protection. Bakit kay Arroyo lang nakatutok? Yung Anti-Corruption Truth Commission na pinopropose ni Chief Justice Davide noong panahon ng Aquino administration. Ngayon, hindi na yan, wala nang problema sa equal protection dahil tatagusin na yung lahat ng gobyerno na merong impunity or human rights violation. No? So, yun yung proposal. So, ibig sabihin, kasama yan dito sa surgery, dito sa chemotherapy. Ang problema lang ay torn yung gobyerno between caution and hesitancy. Yung caution ay nag-iingat ka. Hesitancy is a surrender. Kaya, ano ba talaga yung ginagawa ng gobyerno dito sa cancer? Are they cautious na hindi masyadong ma-damage yung ibang mga organs ng katawan? Or nag-hesitate sila dahil marami masyadong tatamaan sa kanilang gobyerno? No? At nakita natin, marami nang natanggal. No? Itong pinakahuli, yung pinaka-powerful sa cabinet, Executive Secretary Bersamin at Budget Secretary Pangandaman. This is the second time na nagpalit ng Executive Secretary, no, in 3 years. Because of, hindi lang siya usapin ng efficiency, usapin siya ng corruption. No? So, yung Secretary of DPWH ay mukhang kakasuhan na. No? So, hindi lang ito mga natanggal. Ito ay kakasuhan. No? At halimbawa, ang isang malaking problema ng gobyerno is communications. Ngayon ako nakakita ng gobyerno in 40 years sa politika na nagpalit ng communications head 5 times.
PCO.
In 3 years, PCO.
Pero si Yusek Claire parang tumatagal naman.
Yes, pero hindi naman siya head eh. parang isa siya sa mga spokesperson, no? So, ibig sabihin, may problema yung gobyerno, hindi lang sa substance, in terms of sa kanilang governance at saka anti-corruption, kundi pati yung communication nila.
Okay. Dahil nabanggit mo na rin, no? Problema nila ay kanilang hesitancy at pati na rin kanilang caution.
Torn
What do you
between the
think
two.
makes this probe different from the past corruption anomalies like the pork barrel scandal, the PDAF scandal, in the way this is being dealt with? Di ba magiging pareho lang ang takbo nito sa kasaysayan natin? At ang presidente na nagsimula nitong probe na ito mukhang binabalikan na ng mga naisisiwalat. Tingin mo ba, I mean, with the structures in place, looks like it's the Office of the Ombudsman that will be the final arbiter of these corruption cases. Actually, sila ang magpapasa nun
Yes.
sa Sandigan Bayan.
Well, hahatulan yung gobyerno batay sa makakasuhan ba nila, makukulong ba nila, mababawi ba nila yung ninakaw. Hindi as a long burn issue, kundi quick burn. Ibig sabihin, kailangan mangyari yan ngayon.
Ngayon na.
Ang sabi dati ng ombudsman, magpapakulong sila before Christmas. Pero sa ngayon, yung nakaamba na ikukulong, yung mga diskaya pa lang. No? Nanggaling yung promisa ngayon sa gobyerno. So, kung makakapagpakulong sila in 2 to 3 months ng mga big fish, mga senador, mga congressman, cabinet secretary, as well as contractors and undersecretaries, then yung hesitancy nila at saka caution ay medyo matatabunan na. Ibig sabihin, decisive na sila. No? Pero sa ngayon, ang dami nilang problema. Dahil itong latest survey, pababa na pababa yung approval rating ng gobyerno. Sa kanya isinisisi yung corruption, kahit malaki yung role niya sa pag-launch ng Mahiya Ka Naman campaign. Ibig sabihin, ang tingin ng mga tao, yung mga big fish na bahagi ng kanyang gobyerno, hindi pa na paparusahan.
Kasi Pasko na eh. Magpapasko na.
Correct.
The Discayas are in hiding.
Yes.
Zaldico is in hiding. At yung mga DPWH pa lang yung
Yes.
nasa preso. Ano?
Siguro, at the very least, pagbukas ng bagong taon, dapat meron na sila mapakulong.
Ano kaya mangyayari doon sa Bulacan case? I mean,
Well, magiging basis pa rin yan ng marami dito sa kaso. Dahil si Yusek Bernardo, si Bryce, si Alcantara, sila yung mga talagang marami yung ebidensya. No? Si Undersecretary Bernardo nga, ang daming senador na in-implicate. Pati yung hindi mo inaasahan na may in-implicate niya. At yung District 1 ba yun, sa Bulacan, no? Na merong 2 billion per month na disbursement. Napakahirap no, na 2 billion per month. Ang ina-awardan pa yan ng DPWH. No? Yan yung isa sa pinaka-corrupt. So makikita mo talaga yung system of corruption. Tingin ko magpapatuloy na yung Bulacan will be the icon nitong anti-corruption dahil doon maraming whistleblowers.
yun nga yung naantay. Bakit hindi kasi yun yung nauna? I mean, sabi ng iba, baka mas pulido kasi yung kaso dito sa Mindoro. Kompleto na. Kaya nauna daw. Pero pag titignan mo yung Bulacan, senators have been implicated in this case.
Yes.
Which means, do you feel that coming into the next year ay buong taon yung pa rin ang pag-uusapan natin at nagsisimula pa lang talaga?
I think so.
Itong
Dahil
probe
hindi
na
ito
ito.
mawawala. No, nagkaroon ng breathing space yung gobyerno nung more than 2 weeks ago, nung nagbago yung tono ng Iglesia ni Cristo, pinangatawan na ng Catholic Church yung gawin natin ito within the constitutional legal framework, at yung military stood firm sa Constitution at hindi sila magpa-participate sa anything na extra-constitutional. So nagkaroon ng breathing space. But the crisis remains. No? At yung crisis na yan, pwedeng sumabog sa mukha ng gobyerno kung hindi nila gagawin itong sa logical conclusion, yung pagpapakulong at pagbawi ng ninakaw. Dahil ang sinasabi ng gobyerno, hindi ganun kadali ang case build-up. Hindi ganun kadali yung kaso sa korte. Pero sinasabi rin ng gobyerno, with all their powers, marami silang pwedeng gawin. Halimbawa, hindi ka pwedeng maglagay ng whole departure order hanggat walang kaso. Ang ginawa ni Ombudsman Romulia, kinausap niya si Senate President Soto para wag mag-issue ng travel authority. Ibig sabihin, kahit walang whole departure order, pwedeng pigilan through other means, no? Ganun din, halimbawa, ang bagal ng Sandigan Bayan, pwedeng diinan yan para bumilis.
Public pressure.
Public, sabi ni Boying Remulla, bibingka. Public pressure at pressure sa kanya, sa gobyerno. Halimbawa, ngayon lang natin nalaman na yung Philippine Competition Commission ay kaya palang mag-impose ng mga penalties dito sa mga ghost projects, no? Yung first offense 100 million, tapos pataas ng pataas. So ibig sabihin meron ka na nababawi immediately, no? Kahit wala pa yung mga mahabang kaso. So yan yung kailangan gawin ng gobyerno. With all their powers, customs, pwede nang mag-confiscate. CAAP, pwede mag-confiscate ng 5 billion worth of air assets. No? Yan ay pagsamasamahin mo na. Ibig sabihin, pwede mong mabilisin.
Ito yung wins ng government na dapat
na hindi masyadong ginagamit. AMLA. Kausapin mo na yung AMLA through the ombudsman para buksan yung bank accounts nitong mga ito na sabi nila marami na silang nakuha ng mga bank accounts. Hindi lang para bawiin, kundi para malaman. Ano ba yung bank accounts ng Vice President na dapat sana binuksan yung impeachment sa Senate. Baka ngayon pwede lang gawin yan.
Pero sa mga senador, sa level ng senators, I mean, what kind of accountability can we expect? Nadawit ng pangalan ng iilan?
Two-edged yan eh. Halimbawa, itong ginawa ni Ombudsman Remulla na pinakiusap niya kay Senate President Soto, si Jinggoy ang unang tatamaan. Ibig sabihin, sasampahan na ng kaso yan. Sinama na dun sa pwedeng hulihin through malversation with falsification of public documents na non-bailable, si Senator Bong Revilla. So, tingin ko may mga susunod pa. Pero at least itong dalawa,
babalik na naman.
Magkakasama sila uli. No? Itong dalawang ito. So, ibig sabihin, merong pwedeng gawin. No?
Alam natin na pag sa surgery, may nag-oopera. Sino dapat ang mag-opera? Yan ang katanungan.
Yes.
And in the past days, we've seen resignations from the ICI, si Babe Singson, at mukhang mayroon pang upcoming na inaabangan, sabi ni Mayor Magalong. Is the ICI effectively dead, in your opinion?
Yeah. Well, una, yung ICI ay hindi naman siya yung surgeon. Baka yung surgeon ay yung ombudsman. Yung ICI ay kasama doon sa team ng mga doctors. No? Ang problema ng ICI, una, dalawa na yung mga iconic symbols nila nag-resign o natanggal. Si Mayor Magalong at saka si Babe Singson. Sila yung pinaka-prominent doon eh. Diba? Na sa usapin ng anti-corruption. Ikalawa, yung powers nila, wala pa. Dahil hindi ginawang priority bill
ng presidente
yung dalawang bills to strengthen ICI.
So bakit kaya? Is it because of the constitutionality of this body? O talagang na-realize nila eventually na parang hindi siguro ito yung body na mag-work to serve as the lead? Which one is it?
Baka all of the above. Dahil ang statement ni Claire Castro ay ayaw nila ng overlap sa ibang ahensya. Ginagawa nila yan ng DOJ. Gagawin na yan ng ombudsman, etc. No? Ba't yung patinayo? Kung meron palang
wala pang budget.
Overlap.
Hindi pa nabibigay yung budget. Pero meron na daw, sabi ni Yusek Claire.
41 million.
Doesn't it emphasize the lack of urgency of the government? Parang ito yung sinasabi nila on one hand, and on the other, kulang sa suporta itong hinayunin nyo.
Correct. Kung kahit mabagal yung budget process, pwede ka naman kumuha sa intelligence fund mo, almost 5 billion. Bigyan mo ng 10 million. Pam-prime lang. Para meron silang staff, meron silang security. Paano isa sa niraise na problema ni Babe Singson earlier, no? Earlier, hindi lang ngayon, mga binabanatan nila, mga kakasuhan nila, mga sindikato, mga bilyonaryo. Tapos wala silang security sa bahay o sa person niya. Diba? Kaya nai-stress yung pamilya. Nai-stress. Hindi lang siya yung nai-stress. So, medyo may ganong klaseng kakulangan ng support. Priority bills, no? Budget, no? At ang sinabi pa niya, yung support ng mga government agencies kulang. Paano dapat yan? Nagbuo ka na ng cluster na tutulong sa'yo dito sa lahat ng ito. Hindi lang DPWH. no, etc. So baka yun ang sinasabi ni Babe Singson.
But a lot will hinge on Ombudsman Remulla. Tama ba ang aking assessment dito?
Yes. Dahil yung mga big
how
fish.
are you perceiving that? How much power will the Ombudsman have in, I guess, heading to 2028?
Well,
At nasaan ang puso ni Ombudsman Remulla sa iyong pagbasa?
Una, maraming power ang ombudsman na hindi ginamit ng previous ombudsman. Halimbawa, in relation sa SALN. Ngayon, ginagamit yan ni Ombudsman Remulla. Halimbawa, 500 new lawyers ang nag-apply. Hindi ko ma-imagine yun dahil usually ayaw ng tao sa gobyerno, ng mga bata. No? Kukuha sila doon sa 500 ng 200 para ma-expand yung kanilang power at saka scope. Dahil mahalaga kasi tao no? Powerful ka, wala ka naman tao mag-i-implement tong power. No? Ikalawa, yung sinasabi mong puso, tingin ko sa ngayon, no? Nandun yung kanyang puso. Huwag mo kalimutan, nagkaroon ng mga near-death experience si Boying Remulla. At least twice. So tingin ko sa kanya ito ay
his chance to cement his legacy.
Legacy at saka anytime ang feeling niya, I can go. So, isagad ko na. Kaya pag tinanong mo yung puso, tingin ko yung nandun yung puso. Whether yung puso na yan at saka yung power na yan ay magagamit niya dito sa napaka-defining anti-corruption scandals sa ating bansa is another thing. Dahil sabi niya kasi, magpapakulong siya before Christmas. Malapit na yung Christmas, wala pa. Di ba? Tapos mukhang nagtatago yung unang ikukulong nila, si Diskaya. No? So,
pero magiging sapat kaya yung puso na yan to go after his brad, si former House Speaker Martin Romualdez?
Well, ang sabi niya sa akin 2 days ago, sabi niya ay gagawin niya. Yung, paano na, ang nag-recommend ng kaso ay si Vince Dizon at saka si Babe Singson. Sila yung nag-recommend sa ombudsman na kasuhan si Speaker Martin Romualdez. Ibig sabihin, may kaunting bindisyon na yan galing sa taas. No? Yun yung mahalaga. At dahil may bindisyon na, nag-recommend silang kasuhan si Speaker, ay tingin ko, itutuluyan ni Boying Remulla. Tinanong ko siya dyan, di ba upsilon ka rin? Sabi niya, oo. Nandun ako nung nag-member si Speaker Martin Romualdez. Parang siya yung head nung nag-accept kay Speaker Martin sa Upsilon. Ibig sabihin talagang may relasyon sila. Pero ang sabi niya, gagawin niya ito. Tutuloy-tuloyan niya. Lalo na kung malakas ang ebidensya. Dahil ang sabi kasi ni Speaker Martin, kung ang ebidensya ang gagamitin niyo sa akin ay yung statement ni Saldico at saka ni Gutesa, mahina yan. No? Dahil nga yung testimony ni Saldico hindi pa legal Hindi naman siya formal affidavit at wala siya rito at wala yung mga resibo. Si Gutesa naman hanggang ngayon missing. So hindi ko alam kung mayroon pang ibang ebidensya sila. Yung ombudsman, sila Vince Dizon, na wala dun sa binabanggit nila. Dahil sabi nga nung company speaker, medyo mahina yan. Pero ang sigurado ko, itutuloy yan.
Isa sa mga pinagtatakan ko, kung bakit ni-leak ni Ombudsman Remulla yung arrest warrant ni Senator Bato de la Rosa. Nagkaroon tuloy siya ng tsansa na magtago.
Yes.
Ano kayang basa mo doon? Bakit hindi napigilan yung kanyang sarili?
I'm not too sure. Pwede kasi impulsive yan Nung nakuha niya, binanggit
Na-excite
niya.
siya.
Binanggit niya sa media.
But that was not the approach with President Duterte.
Nangyari na sa amin yun dati. Dahil natumbo ko nasan yung Ortega brothers. No? Yung pumatay dun sa environmentalist sa Palawan. Nagtatago yun Natumbok namin sa Vietnam with using false passports. No? So, kinausap na namin yung Vietnamese embassy para tumulong na hulihin yung Ortega brothers. Biglang merong mga tao sa gobyerno na excite, nag-press con. Di nakatakas, lumipat sa Thailand. Eventually, nahuli naman. Pero minsan may ganun impulsive yung mga tao sa gobyerno, excited sila, sinasabi nila. Hindi nila nakita yung implication. I'm not too sure kung yun ang dahilan ng ginawa ni
May sabi ni Senator Ping Lacson ay nag-joke daw sa kanya si Senator Bato de la Rosa na mas mahaba para kung gagawin yung pagtatago. mahuhuli kaya itong mga pumupunta abroad? I mean, what kind of political influence is needed?
Well, sa
and political will from the government?
Well, sa panahon ng technology ngayon, sa panahon ng social media, ang hirap na magtago eh.
Baka Pinoy na ang ano.
Ang tanong dito, yung political will. The technology now is there. No?
Pero bakit sa Portugal? Kasi doon...
Walang extradition treaty ron.
Pero ang Interpol pwedeng pumasok ng Portugal, di ba?
Yes, pero baka mas mahaba yung proseso kaysa sa extradition. No? Dahil kailangan mong kausapin yung gobyerno. Ang dahil mong kakausapin. No? Pero pwedeng gawin yan kung may political will ang gobyerno. Halimbawa, yung sino ba yung pangalan ng governor na nagtago sa East Timor?
Si Tevez.
Di ba? Medyo matagal siyang nandun. Dahil wala naman tayong extradition treaty sa East Timor. Pero, kinausap ng gobyerno yung gobyerno. Di ba nagme-member kayo ng ASEAN? No? Gusto niyo bang maging member o gusto niyo may humarang? Yung mga ganun ba? Government to government. Pwedeng gawin yun.
Kasi sa lahat ng bansa ay mahirap bang kausap ang Portugal? I mean, bakit kaya yun ang napili ni Zaldico? I mean, I guess your guess is as good as mine, no? But speaking of Senator Lacson, ang sabi niya, itong budget daw that they passed on second reading is the most transparent budget ever. Tinanggal na daw yung mga allocable. Tinanggal na rin daw yung mga ayuda na idinadaan sa unprogrammed appropriations.
Yes.
Do you think the momentum is here to create those systemic changes?
I think so. At yan ay galing sa pressure sa baba, sa mga tao. Diba? Yung controversy nung budget last December hanggang January, tingin ko ito na yung culmination yan. At we have to give credit where credit is due. Kaya Senator Lacson at saka kay Win Gatchalian. Talagang pinumisan nila na tatanggalin nila yung mga allocables, tatanggalin nila yung mga ayuda, tatanggalin nila yung mga insertions na yan. At for now, successful sila. Of course, hindi ko alam kung ano magiging pressure ng Malacanang. No, diyan, dahil yung allocables, kasama yan sa NEP eh. Hindi lang yan pinasok ng Kongreso. So, may pressure dun sa BICAM, not only coming from Congress, na pwede mag-quid pro quo sa Senate, pero may pressure din sa Malacanang. No? Pero for now, ay medyo panalo. Yung sila Ping Lacson at saka si Win Gatchalian, natanggalin lahat yan. At very defining yung ginawa nila.
Okay. So, sa susunod na 3 taon, kaya pa bang isalban ni Presidente ang kanyang legacy?
Medyo hindi ganun kadali. No? Lalo na ay hindi tumataas yung kanyang approval rating. Kailangan talaga niya mag-unload ng big fish. At nakatali doon, mismo yung existence ng kanyang gobyerno dahil maraming gusto pabagsakin siya before 2028. No? Ikalawa, halimbawa, this week, ang daming humampas sa kanya. Hindi lang itong low approval ratings, no? Ay pati itong pag-resign o pagtanggal doon sa kanyang very close na undersecretary, si Cadiz, no, na staff niya nung Senate pa lang. At na-link sa corruption. No? Tapos ikatlo, itong malaking rally na nationwide nung November 30. Tapos nakadagdag pa yan, yung budget secretary niya, yung DTI secretary, dito sa 500 peso Noche Buena. No? Tingin ko, sa ngayon, yun yung pinakamalaking sampal sa gobyerno eh. Diba? Ang laki-laki ng anti-corruption scandal, hundreds of billions, even trillions, tapos magpo-propose ka ng 500 peso na Noche Buena, nawala yung nawala yung gusto mong layunin eh. Yung context ang ang nakasira. At sa ngayon, humahampas ito sa gobyerno. Pag minonitor mo social media, ang daming 500 peso no, na breakdown. No? Ibig sabihin, hindi lang galit yung tao, pinagtatawanan ka. Kung ako yung cabinet secretary na yan, nag-resign na ako to save the president humiliation. Dahil tatamaan yung presidente dahil cabinet secretary na yan. So, ang daming nakakadagdag dito sa crisis na ito ng scandal. Pati yung akala mo maliit na issue ng 500 peso Noche Buena, ang laki naging malaki.
Napaka-visual kasi.
Yes.
Napaka-relatable. Katulad na lamang ng sumambulat sa atin na flood control projects. So, buti na lang December 8 ngayon at makakapagdasal po tayo.
Ano ngayong araw?
Feast of the Immaculate
Yeah.
Conception. Oo. Happy Feast of the Immaculate Conception. Thank you again for
Salamat.
joining us and helping us dissect all of this as we head on to the final days of 2025, a crucial juncture, as you said on your interviews, a transition historical period for our country. Maraming salamat. Kasama natin ngayon si political analyst, political pundit Ronald Llamas.
Kaya lang.
Abutan niyo siya, mabait po siya ngayong araw. And coming right up at the Marian Shrine of Harissa, Filipino domestic worker Lauren Capobres, whose testimony detailed the migrant struggles of war, displacement, and hardship, moved Pope Leo XIV to tears during his visit to Lebanon. All that and more when Morning Matters returns. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. A Filipino domestic worker in Lebanon moved Pope Leo XIV to tears after delivering a powerful testimony about struggles of migrants. Lauren Capobres, who was earlier denied a visa to attend the Jubilee of Migrants in Rome, was chosen to speak during the Pope's visit to the Marian Shrine of Harissa. Capobres, a 54-year-old OFW from Camarines Sur, shared stories of war, displacement, and the quiet hardships faced by migrant workers. She recounted helping families fleeing bombings and serving fellow migrants through church ministries. Now, after her testimony, Capobres approached the Pope, describing the encounter as very peaceful and beyond words. And joining us now on the show to give her account of that encounter, we have Lauren Capobres, the Filipino domestic worker whose heartfelt testimony moved Pope Leo XIV. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Umaga na rin ho dyan. Thank you for joining us.
Magandang umaga din po from Lebanon.
Okay, una-una
Miss
ho, no?
Gretchen.
December 1, we saw your moving speech for Pope Leo's visit to Lebanon. How was it speaking to the head of the church? How were you chosen? And how was that encounter with Pope Leo?
Yeah. How am I chosen po is through our parish church. Bishop Cesar, who is the Bishop of Latin Church, give us the opportunity to give the testimony. As I said, I supposed to go to Rome at October, and my visa was denied. And then during that time of Bishop Cesar in Rome, naisip niyo po na pagbisita ng Papa is bigyan ako ng pagkakataong makapag-testimony. And it happens po nga na for me it's like a miracle because everyone wants to have the opportunity to be with Leo, and then I'm the chosen one. And I'm also representing as a voice of the migrants here in Lebanon, not only in Lebanon, but also all over the world.
You told a story of a couple, tama po ba, that you dealt with at the Jesuit Refugee Service. How did you choose this story amongst the many? Kasi kayo po ay tumutulong sa mga migrants dyan na na-displace na po dahil sa gera.
It was really moved my heart po kasi yung experience nila na despite po na the kapalo system that ties the workers to the employer, they decide po to broke that free, and then they decide to go to the church and be with us po despite of uncertainty na nangyayari po sa kanila during that war.
Oh.
And I was so moved po kasi like imagine the mother who had just given birth walk for 3 days just to be in the church and take shelter po.
Okay. I know Lebanon is another area of the world that is in conflict with Israel, knowing that Hezbollah comes from Lebanon. What is the situation there like now? I know there's a ceasefire that has gone on for over a year, but the bombs have not stopped. Kamusta ang sitwasyon niyo ho dyan?
Ganun pa rin po. Sa South, may maririnig ka rin po talaga na ongoing ang kanilang bombing. But yung South po is medyo malayo din sa amin. Pero still po, yung worried sa amin na anytime near us, pwedeng mangyari din yung nangyayari sa South.
Pero ngayon, nasaan ho kayo? Kayo rin po ay isang refugee yourself. Is that correct?
Yes po, after the war, those sheltered, sa shelter namin, na naka-shelter, after the war po, they are given the opportunity to go back to their employer po. And yeah, that time po, my employer come back and then I go back to them po.
And the war has not stopped. So,
Yes.
how is your situation now when it comes to, I guess, receiving compensation at pati na lang mga kababayan po natin na kasama nyo ho?
So far po now, nakatira po ako sa safe na lugar called Asrafieh, Beirut, Lebanon. That's far from the south. And it's not, hindi po namin nararamdaman yung situation kagaya nung nararamdaman nila sa ngayon. Ongoing po ang life dito sa Beirut and other part of Beirut, normal po ang sitwasyon.
Okay. Dito po sa inyong account, you spoke about abandonment and betrayal by, I guess, employers or going around the migrant community. Help us understand that.
It's more on when the war broke out, some employer left Lebanon and they left the employer behind. There are times that we saw the migrants like walking on the street with nowhere to go. That's why a lot of shelters open for them. Yung abandonment na talaga pong totally abandonment na talagang iniwanan po sila ng employer nila.
Oo. Bakit po kaya nangyayari yun?
Siguro po sa part nung like South, wala po silang choice eh. Siyempre po take ng safety yung employer going outside the country. And then, yeah, they just abandon the employee.
Iniiwan na lang ho, no? But what is the situation of these migrants? Sila naman ho, bakit hindi po umuwi na lang din ho kung saan po sila?
Yes po. Our Philippine Embassy is taking care of that situation. We have a lot of repatriation happen during and after the war, but some nationalities don't have that capacity. And some migrants also doesn't want to go home. They want to work. They want to earn money.
So they choose to stay in Lebanon.
Yes po.
And as of today, how many migrants are in your care over there at the parish?
As of now po, the shelter is closed. Like early January, the shelter is closed po.
Is that a good thing? Because,
people na nandun sa shelter, we transferred it to another shelter.
And then, how many displaced migrants are there, according to estimates?
Like during the war po, in our church, in our shelter in the church, it's like 100 plus po. But from time to time, sometimes we relocated to other shelter because the capacity of the church po is not big enough to accommodate all. But we drew our best to ibigay po sila sa ibang shelter na pwedeng mag-accommodate po sa kanila. Lahat po ng pumupunta sa church.
Okay. Oo. And how is the Filipino community in this migrant population? How are they doing? According to reports, around 11,000 Filipinos were estimated to be working in Lebanon as of late 2024. At meron pong nababalitaan ng mga repatriation which goes in the hundreds, which means majority po ay hindi umuwi.
Yes po. So far po, as of now, medyo bawas na po siya kasi repatriation is still going on. So may nag-choose po talaga na ayaw nilang umuwi at gusto nilang magtrabaho. But they are okay po, and the embassy is trying their best to help the migrants po, especially the Filipino one.
Okay, I know we didn't get the chance to play the speech that you gave for Pope Leo. So maaari niyo po ba makwento rito yung encounter na yon with that couple that was locked in? Was that the most painful scene you've witnessed in your work at the Jesuit Refugee Service?
Yes po, because I imagine how this painful scene that's the woman under na naranasan niya po during that time, na parang as a mother po, na-imagine ko kung gaano ang hirap na naranasan niya. Dahil po at the time na nanganak siya, and then naglakad siya for 3 days, and that days is just during the war. There's no safety. Naglakad siya kasi walang sasakyan na magpapasakay sa kanila. It's very painful for me, na parang ang hirap na sitwasyon na gano'n. Kung ako lang sa sarili ko, hindi ko kaya yun. Pero with their faith na talagang naglakad sila through the church, it's really moved for me. And it's really a good experience po na maano ko na as Christian, talagang yung faith nila po is nandun. Para bang, sabi ko nga, I saw the light shining even in the darkest moment po na sitwasyon.
And how are you finding hope amidst all of this? I mean, it seems to be an unceasing war between Israel and Lebanon and Gaza. How are you finding hope for your situation, and what are you seeing? I guess stories of light around you.
It's look like I find it like I was in serving as the parish in the church, and every time that I saw the situation, and I saw the situation of the migrants in the community and everywhere, like I'm saying that when our pastor saying that every mass was saying that welcome home, it gives me hope, and it always reminds me na we as migrants were never alone, that God is within us. God's love surround us, even we are in the situation na hindi namin inaasahan. The God's love is always around us.
17 years na ho kayo dyan sa Lebanon. Hindi niyo po naisip na minsan ay maganda siguro kung umuwi na lang at mas ligtas?
Yes po, naiisip po. Siyempre, naiisip. Pero in us po, like since 2019, we want to go home, but in the situation, there's a tendency that we cannot come back. So going home for good is need a plan din po. For now, I'm not in that time na pwede na akong mag for good. Maybe another 2 years or 3 years. Yes po.
Yun din po ba ang kalagayan ng ibang mga Pilipino dyan?
Yes po. Kasi as of now, we all know po na ang Lebanon is still on the bond. They cannot come here as illegal. All the here, the newcomer is going out really backdoor. And this time, after the COVID and then the war, all Filipinos, even they are legal here now, like me, I am legal here. I can go home, but I cannot have the guarantee to go back. If I go back, I'm gonna be coming out from the back door and coming out illegally. So, inaano po namin na, okay, ayaw namin maging illegal. So, we have to magtitiis na lang po muna kami, hoping that one day, yung lift ng like level 3, na talagang nasa level 3 pa, para sa Pilipino. So, hihintayin po namin yun. And we're hoping and we're praying na maging level 2 or level 1 so that we can go and take our vacation back home.
Hindi po kayo maaaring tulungan ba ng Philippine Embassy pagdating po dyan? In terms of your status?
That's ano po galing po yan sa embassy. Galing sa DFE sa Pilipinas
okay.
na naka-level 3 alert pa po ang
So hindi talaga pwedeng bumalik.
hindi pa talaga po pwede
Oo.
bumalik.
So effectively, if you choose to go home, it's cutting a cord that serves as your livelihood. We saw
Yes,
that
po.
you had a personal encounter with Pope Leo after that speech. At ang message po niya ay be strong. Meron pa po ba siyang sinabi sa inyo? And how did that mean to you?
Actually po, meeting the Pope is like my world stopped. Parang moment ko lang po talaga na siya at ako na parang wala akong naririnig. At narinig ko lang po talaga yung be strong. I know marami pa po siyang sinabi sa akin. Alam ko po na na-bless niya po ako. And wala po akong matandaan. As in talagang parang ano lang talaga. Yung speechless, parang world stuff na parang I feel the peace na lahat na parang wala, be strong po talaga yung natatanda kong sinabi niya sa akin. It's an unexplainable moment po with the Pope. I feel na napaka-peaceful na tao ni Pope. Napaka-holy and everything was, yeah.
Sabi niyo nga ho, no, you weren't able to go to Rome because your visa was denied, but Rome came to you in Lebanon. And I know a while ago I asked you about what serves as your light and your hope there. But seeing you and the work that you do, may you continue to be the light and anchor for the migrant community there. Maraming salamat po for joining us this morning and sharing with us your account. Please stay safe and continue the work that you do. Kami po ay kasama po ninyo dyan. Thank you for sharing your story right here on Morning Matters. And Lauren Capobres. In other stories, former Comelec Commissioner Rowena Guanzon was caught on video in a heated confrontation with a couple inside a mall in Makati last night.
Hindi ka nga naka-Rolex! Hindi ka nga naka-Gucci! Ako ba pinili mo? No, I want your name!
In the clip, Guanzon can be seen angrily pointing at the man and demanding his name after she was allegedly scolded when she coughed due to an itchy throat. The woman reportedly apologized, but Guanzon claims the husband looked her up and down, which further escalated the situation. The former commissioner has since filed unjust vexation and grave oral defamation charges against the couple.
Hindi naman ako nagagalit kung hindi talagang sukdulan yung injustice or mali, di ba?
And moving on to entertainment, the cast of the highly anticipated MMFF entry Manila's Finest came together for a grand media conference. Now, leading the cast is Yola Pascual, joined by Enrique Hill, Cedric Juan, and Dylan Menor. Now, the film, set in the 1960s, promises a nostalgic look at the era while highlighting the stories of police officers and the women around them. Manila's Finest is a collaboration between MQuest Ventures, Signal, and Spring Films.
Ito po ang regalo namin sa inyong lahat ngayong Kapaskuhan. And syempre po, hindi naman to about us, but it's about a story or part of our history in the 60s na fiction man siya. Ito po yung sumasalamin buhay nating lahat.
This is really different from what I'm used to before. So which is really cool.
As a rookie policeman, alam niyo, mas lalo akong napahanga sa ating mga police. While we were actually shooting, doon ko na-realize na wow, ang hirap din pala maging police. It was never an easy job.
And that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you the right start to your Monday morning. Let's go ahead and make the day and the holiday matter. My name is Gretchen Ho. Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time.